So I think what will really help cool down the situation is arresting Gavin Newsom.
Yes, I'm for it.
I kid, but
I hate Gavin Newsom, but that would not calm the situation down, obviously.
Trump, and I'm going to insert the clips here, but Trump and Tom Homan, the immigration czar for the Trump administration, floated the idea of arresting Gavin Newsom. And then he's actually walked that back. But Trump, when he's been asked about it, sounds incredibly supportive. Take a listen to that.
Tom Homan becoming a rector. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom.
What crime has Governor Newsom committed?
A crime has he committed? I think his primary crime is running for governor.
Did you hear that? You're talking about arresting the governor, you know, the guy who runs the biggest state that gives the most money to the federal government. You're talking about arresting him. What crime has he committed? Oh, I think he committed the crime of running for governor. Listen to this fucking
becoming a rector.
What crime has Governor Newsom committed?
A crime has he committed? I think his primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
I'm of two minds on this, guys, because for one thing, I don't think being a bad governor is a crime. I don't know of what crime he's committed. But let me read you this tweet from Gavin Newsom. The President of the United States just called for the arrest of a sitting governor. This is a day I hoped I would never see in America. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This is a line we cannot cross as a nation. This is an unmistakable step towards authoritarianism.
Now, it absolutely is. I feel like this guy is going to be like, oh, this is overreacting. But dude, the guy has called for the governor to be arrested for what crime did he commit? Oh, the crime of being elected. Like, what the fuck world are we living in? Where now the president can run around saying, yeah, we should arrest people for the crime of, like, existing?
I'm old enough to remember, like, last year and the year before when prosecutors across the country went after Donald Trump.
Dude, prosecutors went after Donald Trump because he committed crimes. He stole classified documents. When the FBI tried to get him back, he hid them and moved them around. He was making suspicious business deals with Saudi Arabia at the same time. He fucking sent fake electors to overturn an election. Okay, he started an insurrection, which he later pardoned all those guys. He fucking cheated on business records to hide the payoff of a porn star so he could win an election. Like, hello, he called the governor of Georgia and asked him to fine 15,000 votes so he could win a fucking election. Like, are you serious, Brad Polumbo? You're not seeing that those crimes where it wasn't just Joe Biden saying, yeah, we should arrest Trump. And why? Because he's Donald Trump. No, they went before grand juries with evidence, you fucking wide-eyed fucking weirdo. The fuck is this guy doing, bro? What a false equivalence. Like, Jesus Christ. Dude. Clown show here.
This is a line we cannot cross as a nation. This is an unmistakable step towards authoritarianism. I'm old enough to remember, like, last year and the year before when prosecutors across the country went after Donald Trump and tried to put him in prison. Sometimes for cases I thought were frankly bogus, sometimes for cases I thought were more legitimate. But
whether you thought those cases were bogus, he got due process. They took evidence in front of a grand jury, an impaneled grand jury of 22 people that saw the evidence. That grand jury issued indictments. You don't get indictments without significant amounts of evidence, bro. You thought the cases were bogus, but the grand jury, seeing the evidence, apparently didn't think they were.
Idea that like clutch my pearls, arresting a governor is beyond the pale. I mean, we've seen presidential candidates and former presidents investigated. We've seen senators. We've seen members of Congress. I think we've also seen governors.
Yeah, but the Governor Newsom, what crime has Governor Newsom committed? Oh, he committed the crime of getting elected. Yeah, no, this guy is a fucking clown, bro.
To me, rang hollow, but I also don't actually see what crime he could even be investigated for or charged with, Anna.
Yeah, look, Gavin Newsom, he loves what's going on, okay? I'm going to go ahead and tell you exactly what he's thinking and what he's doing. He's been a failure of a governor. He wants nothing more than to posture as the great savior against Donald Trump. He wants this fight, and he likes the optics because he thinks it makes him look good, and he's already running for the 2028 presidential election. Let's keep it real. At the same time, look, Tom Homan made a statement about arresting politicians who interfere or try to prevent federal agents from carrying out their duties. And then, the walk back was basically him reiterating, no, he hasn't committed a crime. I wouldn't arrest him if he hasn't committed a crime, or I wouldn't have him arrested if he didn't commit a crime. I think that arresting Gavin Newsom, had he done something that the Trump administration thinks might be a crime, would escalate the situation. However, point taken about the, targeting of Trump for criminal prosecution and the fact that you've had politicians on both sides of the political aisle face.
See, the targeting Trump for political prosecution is the bullshit. Like, Trump committed crimes and they didn't let him commit crimes. Dude. Yeah, no, dude, Anna has, she's really sank. She's gone down the tubes, dude. For you to deny that Trump committed those crimes when there's enough evidence for a grand jury to convict him, now what? If we have evidence of somebody committing a crime, even if it's a president, you're saying what? We're just not supposed to convict him because he's a president? What the fuck is she even talking about, man? Dude, that shit is crazy. Crazy. And on top of it, though, the fact that the president is talking about arresting somebody when he doesn't even have a crime, but he's still saying, yeah, we should arrest him. Why? Because he got elected. Dude, that's dangerous rhetoric. Because now you're implying that your administration supports just arresting people without any due process. Just why? Because you don't like them. Dude, what the And these guys are like, oh yeah, let's both sides this. Dude, come on.
Criminal charges and deal with convictions for crimes like corruption. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez is a perfect example of that. Look, as long as Gavin Newsom isn't, doing something illegal, I don't think he has anything. I don't think he's worried about getting arrested. I'm just going to keep it honest with you guys.
I think he would love it. I think it'd be great for him.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, to me, this is an annoying sideshow that gives him an opportunity to distract from how much of a failure of a governor he's been.
See, what's crazy about this is how Anna, she finds Gavin Newsom more objectionable than Donald Trump. That's wild. Right? Trump, criminal, rapist, grab him by the pussy, clearly authoritarian, dismantling government agencies, writing unconstitutional executive orders, trafficking people with no due process to El Salvadorian prisons for life. But Anna finds Gavin Newsom to be more offensive and problematic. She would never defend Gavin Newsom like Trump. We saw her earlier defending Trump. Oh, he's not really a fascist. Come on. But now this Gavin Newsom guy is really a problem. Anna! Dude, what the fuck happened to this woman, dude? Dude, and he introduced her as the progressive, whatever, journalist, thought leader, commentator.
Which is why I don't like to feed into it. That's my take.
Yeah, Vince, I mean, Trump did suggest, like, well, the crime is being a terrible governor or something. I'm always hesitant to get, like, upset by Trump's words because he may just be trolling. He may not really mean that statement literally.
See, that too. He may just be trolling. He may not mean that statement literally, but where are we at, guys, when the president of the United States, a guy who can make decisions that can impact the global economy, the American stock market, the job market, your 401ks, the livelihood of 300 million people, and the lives of billions of people worldwide. The president is not allowed to fucking troll about shit. Like, really? We're the guy who has a job that can impact the entire global survival is allowed to just troll with his words to the point of like what's real and what's not. Man, no, that's got to stop, bro. That's unacceptable. You don't belong in the presidential seat if you're a troll, if you're not going to take your job seriously. You know who's a troll? A YouTuber, somebody on Twitter that is just fucking around, somebody who's, 20 and trying to make some internet clickbait. But the fucking president has no business trolling. Not about arresting people and about taking away due process or inflicting violence on American citizens. Dude, come on.
But the idea also, though, that Trump is comfortable with arresting or charging a political opponent when there's no actual crime that's been committed, that still does give me pause, though, Vince. What do you think?
Dude, that gives him pause, okay? Dude, yeah, you see that? Oh, the fact that the president, could possibly think he can arrest a political opponent with no evidence gives me pause. Dude, that should scare the fucking shit out of all of us, and we should be impeaching him like South Korea style, guys. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.